past discussions in mathematics and all that you have learned from your previous years, I know you have come across with different kinds of equations. And you have also come across with different ways of solving those kinds of equations. But during solving, as your teacher, there would always be someone who will say if you are allowed to use calculators. But there will be also someone who will say there's no need to. That's why we have here this morning for us to resolve the issue if we should be using calculators in the classroom, especially in mathematics. But before anything else, I would like to remind everybody that to take note with what the speakers will share this morning for you to be able to react, ask, or suggest anything after the debate. So now I will call the chairman of the debate, Ms. Jane Moldes.
Good morning, everyone. We are gathered here today because of our class debate. Okay, so our motion is about, do we need to use calculator in the classroom? So today, we will listen to the argument between the proposition and the opposition team. But before that, let me introduce to you the panel of judges. Let's start first with Mrs. Lorna Gapo, Master Teacher in Mathematics. A round of applause. Mrs. Rosario Cabardo, our English teacher. Please give them a round of applause. And lastly, Mrs. Amor Humaya, Head Teacher in Mathematics. And of course, Ms. Cheyenne Faith Becerra, our timer. Let's give them a round of applause. Let us now know the speakers from the both sides. For the opposition side, Queen Cristel Boyose, Erika Laplana, Anne-Mabel Huntilla, Jill Albino, Danica Valdez, and Miguel Molina. For the proposition side, John Lester Russell, Christine Mabel Claveria, Chelsea Yanong, Adrian Sam, General Gallo, and Kathleen Bantuana. So now, speakers, please be reminded that you will be given 3 minutes to deliver your rationale or speech. So now, I will give the floor to the first speaker of the opposition side.
Good morning, everyone. Do we need calculators in the classroom? I say no. In everyday life, students use math. They're able to compute without the help of the calculator. Why we use calculator when you have the ability to solve, to compute, and brainstorm math? God given us the brain to help us to understand every situation on earth. When calculators were first invented in the 1960s, they were not considered for use in schools because of their size, appearance, and cost. Eventually, they become sleeker and less expensive, and students began using them in and out of the classroom. Calculators are good because they allow problems to be completed faster. But the viewpoint is that calculators become a crutch, and students have a weak arithmetic skills as a result of having the calculator do the mathematical heavy lifting. We critics say calculators, first, produce students who can perform basic tasks without a calculator. Second, prevent students from discovering and understanding underlying mathematical concepts. Third, give students a false sense of confidence about their math ability. Fourth, keep students from benefiting from one of the most important reasons for learning math, to train and discipline the mind and to promote logical reasoning. And lastly, encourage students to randomly try a variety of mathematical computations without any real understanding of which is appropriate or why. Think about all the famous mathematicians who come up to the different theories and equations on math. They come up to those theories just by learning in the classroom. They don't even use calculator. If they can invent equations, why can students in a classroom solve a single problem without the use of calculator? And even before, they do not have calculators. But look, now they are all professionals, businessmen, teachers, engineers, and etc. They make it to be successful in life and become professionals without technologies, without calculators. Like Jed Babin quoted, "You don't learn about the process of mathematics by pushing buttons on the calculator. You will learn by striving hard and believe to yourself that you have enough knowledge to solve it." That's all. Thank you.
And this time, I will give the floor to the first speaker of the proposition side.
Good morning, everyone. Our topic is all about, do we need calculators in the classroom? Definitely yes. The justification regarding this matter premises the most controversial. Indeed, the mathematics associated with theories, reality, unknown, naturalism, and etc. In North America, high school teachers allow and encourage their students to use calculators. College Board of United States permits their students to use calculators. United Kingdom allowed for level math courses to use calculators to have the argument regarding the answers. Other countries with a high economic weight encourage every student in primary and secondary students to use different types of calculators. However, in China and India are strictly banned to use calculators. As a result, many students have not passed in the mathematical course, and students in that field have the higher suicidal rate that increased 10% a year. The Filipinos are already taking their steps to unite the world and continue to adapt the technology and globalizations. As the students are the models of progression, we must use calculators as a companion. Try to reflect that on ourselves. All of us has an intelligent mind to solve mathematical problems, but we aren't that as genius to do that in a limited time only. The usual scenario like that is always end up cheating, the technique which students always do to get higher grades. But knowing the fact that he or she did not know how to solve is a great loss to himself or herself. That is why calculators are invented to help students. If one person knew how to use it, therefore, she or he know how to solve it. At early age, we must indulge ourselves in this machine because anywhere you go can seize calculator. Our economic rate will decrease if cashiers in the supermarkets compute the price manually and the consumers have a long line. The household builders can recognize what is the right price if physicists compute it without a calculator. As a consumer, we can pay as larger than the exact price. Living in this country that full of corruption, satisfaction is needed to fill every hole of injustice. Calculators are invented to help us. In order to be more successful, you must adopt technology and changes. Therefore, at a young age, we must indulge ourselves of using calculators to prevent the lack of necessary skills. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am here in front of you to support what Ms. Boyosa said. We all know that calculators are good in computation, but cannot be counted on to do any of the actual thinking required to do a mathematics problem. According to what Ms. Boyosa said, it is not healthy to use calculator in the classroom because students will depend much on it that they won't be able to solve a simple question and become lazy. The students using calculator won't learn manually. Also, buttons of the calculator have different mathematical symbols that many students do not understand. One wrong press of any of its buttons can confuse you and give you a wrong answer in the end. Picture out in your mind, 17 years ago. It is the time your mother and father are studying. They don't have technologies like what we have now. They don't have calculators. But they are able to finish their studies and become a successful businessman, math teachers, etc. Remember, Ms. Poyosa gave 5 reasons why we shouldn't have calculators in the classroom. One of them is that it takes opportunities for you to reason. How did you get the answer? When your math teacher asks you, how you got the answer, what would you say? I bet if you're one of the students who are using calculators, you would say that you get the answer because you use calculator. Ironic, isn't it? Another is, it gives you false confidence in your calculation abilities. It is unhappy to say that you are confident that you always get the right answer. But sadly, it is not your abilities to solve, but the ability of the calculator you are using. Lastly, calculator overuse may lessen your ability to do even basic calculations in your head or on paper. I know that this doesn't sound good, but this is true. Many students that I am familiar with who are overusing calculator are now having a hard time to solve 6 times 6 in their mind. Calculators in paper don't need batteries and are not expensive. It only requires your knowledge and the will to learn how to solve it. As a student, I will say that we should not use calculator in the classroom. That would be all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here to support Mr. Russell said. As what he said, we all need calculators. It gives the answer to some difficult math problems in just a snap. It gives accurate answer, and it is very functional to the students, even to the teachers. In short, calculator is our friend. According to some research, rather than hampering mathematical ability, calculator use can actually improve students' achievement in mathematics. So, let's stick to the point that calculators is our friend. No one in this room can say that it is wrong. Because, admit it or not, all of us uses calculator. Even you deny it, I know and I can see that all of us uses calculator. The fact that even those math geniuses uses calculator. Even those who teaches the students uses calculator. The fact that no students in this school who doesn't use calculator. It is very obvious that we need to use calculator in our classroom. If we say we need calculator, yes we do. We really do. And I hear some questions about it. Do we need calculator even in solving 6 times 6 or 2 times 2? Oh, we all know that many students who really hate math because of its difficulty, but because of the calculator, it helped them answer math questions easily. For example, calculator is a human. He is your friend. He is very nice because he helps you solving your difficult problems, and he is right there beside you, ready to help you all the time. Then, here comes the problem. You don't know how to tie your shoelaces. Do you have the courage to ask for help to him in such easy problem? Isn't it embarrassing? Or you solve your easy problem yourself? Relate it to the question, do we need calculator even in solving 6 times 6? Indeed. Calculators is a companion. It gives us accurate answers. That's all. Thank you.
morning. I'm here to oppose what the proposition had said. That question, do we need calculators in the classroom? No, we don't need calculators in the classroom. Others fear that learning to use calculator will rob children of the ability to do some mental calculations. Calculators become a crutch, and students have weak arithmetic skills as a result of having the calculator to do mathematical heavy lifting. Isn't that make the calculator a fool? You say that using calculator makes you feel to have the best chance to get the right answer. But what if you're using a calculator? What if you're not using a calculator? Does it make you feel less? Don't you believe yourself? Are you not that confident to have doubts about yourself, relying on yourself only a calculator? You said that in China, calculators are bound to be used. That is because their teachers wanted them to be independent, so that their actual thinking or skill, which is required to do a mathematics problem. We always have this someone who starts every math problem by reaching their calculator. This kind of behavior is a problem as the calculator becomes more and more of a crutch. Some students use calculators so much that their first reaction is to use it to simply try to add, subtract, multiply, and divide the numbers given in the problem to see if any of these results make sense as an answer. These students have lost their problem-solving instincts and have weakened their ability to judge the correctness of an answer because they do not think through the problem enough to determine what type of answer to expect. You said that calculators are good at computation, but cannot be counted on to do any of the actual thinking required to do a mathematics problem. Calculators can be a useful tool when used appropriately, but it is easy to get into the habit of reaching for one before you even think about the question is asking. About calculators and their usage, many students overuse their calculator, which leads them to underuse their brain. You said that each calculator is balanced, but most problems can be done without using a calculator. You should work the problems out by hand.
Good morning. You said confidence, right? No, it doesn't affect our confidence to answer the given problem because we know how to use our mind in computing equations. Calculators are our companion. Mathematicians made them to have other people to solve their problems easier, especially in long computations. For example, mathematicians made cell phones. So what's the purpose of that if you will just only display in the notes? Well, the problem here is, if you just use calculators for just simple problems like 5 plus 5, 100 plus 100, and 1 million plus 1 million, and you don't know how to compute simple problems, then it's not our problem anymore. And we don't want to happen that to us, to lose confidence in answering the math problems. Do you want that happen to you? All of you? I don't think so. As your first and second speakers state, that calculators have many disadvantages. So it means that you don't depend on calculators. Then, my question is, do you use calculators? Just answer first my question by yes or no. Come again. Do you know where liars go? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Did you say later that we need to use calculators? No, we don't need to use calculators because we are being dependent upon ourselves. There are reasons to avoid using a calculators. It prevents you from doing the critical thinking necessary to do more complex calculations. Students who use a calculator are generally weaker at analyzing their answers to make sure it makes sense. Takes away opportunities for you to reason your way through the problem. It is easy to just try different operations and see what each answer looks like, rather than reasoning through the problem. May give you a false sense of confidence in your calculation abilities. In extreme cases, calculator overuse may inhibit your ability to do even basic calculations in your head or on paper. To understand numbers and patterns found in nature, we can also grow and maintain mental power. To understand invisible things, to think logically and clearly when solving problems, to operate systems using profound knowledge, to recognize long-term causes and effects. And also, students who do not do long divisions, who quickly pull out their calculator to complete the answers. There are the students who do not understand the underlying principle of division. Calculators prevent students from seeing the underlying structure and beauty in math. We always have this someone who solves every math problem by reaching for their calculator. This kind of behavior is a problem as the calculator becomes more and more of a crutch. Some students use calculators so much that their first reaction is to use it to simply try to add, subtract, multiply, or divide the numbers given in the problem to see if any of those results make sense as an answer. And if you really have the courage, determination, and especially trust in yourself, then you can do what difficulties you would have encountered just like the math problems. You can just solve the problems with just a piece of paper, ball pen, etc. That's why there are math teachers who help us in our everyday situations when we're talking about mathematics. For we don't have to depend anymore on calculators. Thank you.
So, as we conduct our research or survey confidently about the topic of should we use calculator in the classroom, majority, or let's say 95% say yes, and for the no is 5%. They reason out that students will depend on it. Well, just because we're using calculator doesn't mean we're already depending on it. If we don't use calculator, there's a big possibility that the number of cheaters may grow and goes into highest level. Even though there's a calculator, some students are already cheating. What if, how about we're not allowed to use calculator? So it's even more worse. Those who use calculators in class have better attitude than the students who do not use them. Could you imagine a classroom without using a calculator? How does it go? Calculators are good because they allow problems to be completed faster and more accurately. Students who use calculator and tests have higher scores in basic computation, skills, and problem solving. Jill said a while ago that we should use calculator so that students will think logically, clearly when solving problems, and to operate systems using proper knowledge. That's absolutely ridiculous. Many equation requires calculation because there's simply not equation enough time. A lot of things on the calculator you can use with your head, so you need a calculator. That's why they need calculator for math. You said later that you don't need calculator. You don't use calculator. So why is that there is a calculator at your back? What's the purpose of that again, Jill? Thank you. So good morning.
What if there's no calculator as what we said? I think so. The students will be more used to in manual calculation and will be more independent, not relying in others' invention, and will listen more often on the teacher's lesson. So, as what she said, what if there's no calculator in the classroom? What if there's no calculator that was invented before? So, that was before. What if somehow you forgot to bring your calculators in school during an exam? I think so. You'd still just fall in manual calculation. That's all.
Do we need to use calculators in the classroom? Obviously, yes. You cannot solve those tedious equations without the help of calculators. Calculators try not to reflect in dictionaries. Dictionaries are also our companion. So do you mean that dictionaries also should not be used in the classroom? As what Erica said a while ago, calculators makes us more confused than usual. No, it doesn't make you confused unless you know the process or the functions of the buttons of the calculators. A while ago, Davida said that the students will be more used to using manual calculation. Yes, it may be true, but it takes them to solve equations, probably longer than using calculators to solve it out. Statistics, for example, is a branch of mathematics wherein you solve in longer amount of time, solving for the mean, median, and mode. In fact, by using calculators, you make your load lighter than usual. Well, in that situation, you can say that if you're willing to make your answers correct, then you can just borrow calculators in your classmate. Is that a problem? Complex mathematical problems need to be answered by the calculators. Calculators are not just there for decorations. They're not just there to beautify your bag or your pocket. The world is evolving. Technology is uprising. Technology is a fad, a craze wherein you need to embrace.
Thank you, Mr. Gallo. Now, I'd just like to have a recap. Your topic about the dictionary is out of topic because we are discussing all about let us be resolved that calculator should be used in classroom. So now, I would like also to ask Ms. Sam, how did you get that 95% of people who said no to calculate, who said yes to calculators, even though you didn't have your own research? So that would be all then. Now I would like to ask a simple question. What will happen to you if you left your calculators during exam? Because as what Baldwin said, you didn't learn about the process of mathematics by pushing buttons of calculators. Because you said earlier that calculators is useful during class hours. So I would like to ask Ms. Kathleen to answer that question that I said earlier.
Good morning to everyone. Solving mathematical problem in a paper, you said a while ago, is easy. Well, you easily said that because you have wider understanding and without minding others who are not impatient enough to do mathematical problems. How about the hetero students? If they can solve mathematical problem, they will end up dropping at school. And as Miss Boyose and Miss Erica said that way back 17 years ago, in 1960s, our calculators uninvented. Well, in 11th century, calculators was first used by Chinese merchants called abacus. And Chinese scholars that time indulged themselves to use abacus to perform mathematical problems. And China's that a mathematical philosopher.
And as of now, we are all in computer age. We need the calculators as a companion. Our class session has a limited time only, and we are not intelligent enough to perform mathematical problem in a limited time only. Calculators and dictionary have the same purpose. It is just a companion. In English, the calculators aren't just like dictionary. If you use dictionary, they give us meanings of the words. And if we use calculators, they give us an accurate answers. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, since all of the speakers have already shared their speech about the topic today, may I solicit any suggestions, ideas, comments, and reactions from our audience?
In line with the proposition side, we have to use calculator for our everyday life, especially when we encounter large numbers which can be solved by critical thinking. As now, in high school, we experience different difficulties in solving mathematical problems. The nature of numbers is complicated. So, we have to solve it by using calculators. Indeed, we believe that calculators should be used in the classroom. Thank you.
I addressed this question to the proposition team. According to your every speech a while ago, you said that you agreed to use calculator, but why? Aren't you contented enough with what God has given you?
We are contented enough at what God has given to us. But how about the hetero people, the hetero students who are not capable to solve mathematical problems in a limited time? Then, are we all intelligent enough to do a mathematical problem in a limited time? That's all.
So what was the equation featured by our teacher? So we haven't used them because of that. So, and calculators can even answer the large numbers. That's what you said earlier, how that the large numbers cannot be answered by critical thinking. So now, if the calculators can answer large numbers, it can only have 10 to how many digits? 12 digits only, but how about those bigger numbers? Could it be solved by calculators?
And if you think the calculators are not pretty smart because it can add 1 million plus 1 million, just bear in mind that calculators we use are just basic. There are many types of calculators. The graphing calculator that's capable of plotting graphs, solving simultaneous equations, and perform with variables, and it can attach an electronic device such as thermometers, PG gadgets, and electronic device instrument, decibel, light meters, accelerometers, speedometers, and sensors. These calculators that are developed by Robert A. Reader, the indicator distance, the amplifying instrument that perform accurately compute the small distance, angle, and amplifying. There are many types of calculators are developed since the abacus. That's all. Thank you.
From the opposition side, do you want to...
what if calculator is not invented this time? What would you do?
You can say that what if calculators just not invented at that time. Well, all of us has curiosity, and the people in way back in time have curiosity. Then they make gadgets, and those gadgets are developed by now, and now it has enhanced the capacity to perform tasks that help us. That's all. Thank you.
From the audience.
Well said. They have all the ideas, and I think they have defended that without using of calculators in the classroom is better, so that the students will understand more and will be practiced and will enhance their mind in solving problems. So I will give my support to the opposition team.
We all know that the cost of scientific calculator is expensive, and due to this problem, many students nowadays can afford to buy one. For example, some students borrow calculator here in our classroom. And in addition to this statement, I want to address this question to Ms. Jill Albino. How come that some students used to borrow your calculator when in fact you're in favor on the negative side?
Well, there's not many problem anymore because our rights should be used calculators in classroom like the purpose of the other students who borrow the calculators from us. So thank you.
Are there any more suggestions?
As what Kathleen said a while ago, if we don't have that kind of calculators, you have said, Kathleen, then we won't be able to calculate those larger numbers you have said. That should be all.
Thank you so much for the ideas you shared. The key to calculator use is balance. Calculators can be a helpful and effective aid as you tackle problems that require more computation. Before reaching for a calculator, put some thought into the problem. If it is a word problem, consider drawing a diagram or making a chart to help your brain organize the information. Once you have done all this and understand what the problem is asking, use this information to determine whether or not to use a calculator. You probably know someone who starts every math problem by reaching for their calculator. This behavior is a problem as the calculator becomes more and more of a crutch. Some students use calculators so much that their first reaction is to use it simply, try to add, subtract, multiply, or divide the numbers, given in the problem to see if any of those results make sense as an answer. These students have lost their problem-solving instincts and have weakened their ability to judge the correctness of an answer because they do not think through the problem enough to determine what type of answer to expect. The bottom line is that calculators can be a great tool when used appropriately. Just be careful and make sure that you keep the responsibility of the thinking to yourself. Calculators are good at computation but cannot be counted on to do any of the actual thinking.
How about a round of applause to all the speakers and the audience? I am very happy seeing you sharing with all the overflowing ideas you have in mind regarding our motion this morning on the use of calculators in the classroom. Well, allowing students to solve using a lesser time will teach us calculations and giving more emphasis on solving problems is one of the advantages of using calculators. But if you train yourself to solve quickly and manually, so that would be a good idea also to not use calculators. What I want to emphasize is that we should and should not use calculators, but it depends on the difficulty of the given task. That means to say, if you can compute a certain problem without the use of calculators, then you can not use calculators, because that would be we will have some certain limitations so as not to produce persons who are dependent on calculators. But after all your sharings, may you call on your English teacher to offer a comment and suggestions to the speakers as well as the audience.
Good morning. You just never know, class, that I'm so glad, I'm so happy you are exposed to this kind of event, because it was a long, long time ago when I was also one of the, I was one of the proposition. We call that one in our time affirmative and negative. But it's okay, it's the same. But it doesn't really matter if you cited the opposition or the proposition. It is how you present your idea, your sign, and how are you going to deliver it? How you really convince the audience, and can you convince the judges? Now, class, I can really see ang inyong grammar, na mali-mali, the content. If you can see in my judging sheet, I give you a fair score. Why? I'm sure you have gotten your ideas from the internet, from your research work, but I wanted to be convinced with your presentation. How can you convince the audience with your sign? And thus, I'm really happy. Starting our class from June up to this time, I'm looking for a participant for an extemporaneous talking or smart talking. I'm looking for a participant who can be a winner to the Red Angel event. And I'm so glad that I'm here. I'm supposed to refuse because I have important thing to do also, but I'm so glad that I came. Class, in this event also, I supposedly would like to get the best speaker, because in a debate also, I still can remember that it was a long time ago that we really have to get to pick who is among the debaters. It can be a proposition or the opposition. We are going to select the best debater. It can be an individual actually, and also the best speaker. The best debater can also be the best speaker, or it can be the best debater is different from the best speaker. I don't know if you have still a second round, but I want you to really to research on debate. Actually, in our college, it's debate and argumentation. And I'm so happy that I still remember those my high school days. I was exposed also to this one. Although Ano, ikaw kaya kayo kaya, I remember I'm retireable now. But I still remember, but I want you to update. By this time, class, it is easier for you to make a lot of research. And like in our days wherein we have to open a lot of books. This time, come on, it's very easy for you. At the comfort of your home, opening your laptop or your computer online, you can do a lot of research work. Unlike our day, wherein we really have to open a lot of books, magazines. I hope that you get my point. Okay, so by this time, I don't want also to rush with giving you the grading, the best speaker or the best debater. So maybe by next time, I can also give you elaborate this one in one of our English time. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I am hoping that all the speakers as well as the audience are being inspired by what your English teacher have said. We may never know, one of the 34 students here in the classroom present today, he will be one of the best debaters in town in the near future. So this is a good start. How about a hand for yourselves for this morning? Okay, to end the debate, may I request all the judges to stand here in front as I declare the winners. Which among the team presents their idea and convince the audience on the use of calculators in the classroom? Are you excited? I know the audience have their bet. Others are praying that the team that they are supporting will be the winner. So the winner on the debate with the motion that the calculator should be used in the classroom is dun, dun, the proposition team. Please stand and thank the judges. Congratulations to the proposition team, and thank you so much to our judges this morning, Ma'am Lorna, Ma'am Amor, and Ma'am Rose. That's very good for a first timer, as what Ma'am Jaco have said. Okay, so to end our debate this morning, may I request everybody to get 1/4 sheet of paper, and we will have a 3-minute reflection. Get 1/4. Or any paper you have there on your seat. I'll give you 3 minutes to write down your reflection on the issue as well as on having the debate in mathematics. Your 3 minutes starts now. You write your reflections on the issue as well as on having a debate in mathematics. Last 1 minute. Okay, time. Stop writing. I want one brave soul to share his or her ideas. I have Paul.
Good morning to all. My reflection is, I learned that calculator is very important to us, especially in solving mathematical problems. But it has disadvantages. Like you are very dependent to the calculator. And in the debate, I learned how to manage it and how to do the division.
Okay, I think it's his first time to witness a debate. So you pass your 1/4 sheet of paper to the side. And that ends our class this morning. I am very happy seeing you participate with the activity this morning. Everybody stand. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye and thank you.